We should be officially live in the building. What's up to everybody? As y'all can see, we are joined by the legend Black Ram 313 in the building. We about to be getting into this. The story been all over the place. Deion Sanders turned turned his back. Turned his back on the community, so to speak. That's how a lot of people framing it. Turned his back. So we're gonna be breaking it down. Going to be getting into that. It's some things that a lot of people are saying that I have some disagreement with. I'm sort of in the camp that if we gonna if we want black people to have better stuff, then we gotta build it. But it's a catch to it. It's a catch to it. And we're gonna I'm gonna get into that. I'm gonna pick Black Ram's mind on this. He always has a very thought-provoking things to say. So we're gonna dig into that. So let's strap on in. I know the routine, Reza. You're catching it live, catching it after it's uploaded. Make sure you hit the like button. But without further ado, let's get ready to go. Let's get it.
Peace, folks. This is X from TPOT Media. Open your mind and wake your black ass up. You know what time it is. Hit that damn like button as you make your way in the door. Grab a seat, settle in, get ready. It's the Grown Man Hour with your host, my man, Bernard Riley.
What's up, everybody? What's up, everybody? Fired up for this one. We are joined by the legend. He looked like he don't like me calling him that, but we joined by the legend. Let's go, Black Ram.
You know I'll gladly take it. I'll take whatever I can get.
I said that in my little pre-intro ramble, and he's like, I didn't know if he liked that, but you going to take the flowers. Going to take the flowers.
Man, I've been in this space for 10 years, man. So I've been around a long time, so I'd like to at least be looked at as being an old man in this space as far as the on here.
Yeah, absolutely. But before we get into it, y'all know I always do shout out to the people that make it in bright and early. LB Crypto in the building. He says early. I think he means early squad. He said early squad on deck. He said this is going to be another classic with the OG of the space, Black Ram. Please, people, hit the like. Please, people, hit the like and buckle in for the ride. Absolutely. Ride a guy in the building says, "Oh shit, we trying to keep it." I'm trying not to cuss on this. I've been getting green lights on my live streams, and I don't know how because I be cussing. But I'm gonna try to keep it rolling. But he says, "Oh shoot, Black Ram 313 up in here." He says, "Let's go." Perfect Storm in the building says the community broke into his.
Oh wow.
Oh yeah. Wow. It's some ugly details. I think his car got broken.
Real?
No, that's for real.
That's
for real.
On
JSU.
That's a whole new dynamic right there.
Yeah, on JSU campus, I guess. Yeah, I mean, he was getting targeted a little bit. It's in the hood. It's in the hood. They just came. That's Deion car. I think his son's car got targeted. Even somebody broke into one of his sons and stuff. So yeah, all kind of stuff was going on. But he says, then they
Wow.
expect him to stick around and work for charity.
Ooh,
Yes, they
we
was
got to talk
paying.
about that. We got to talk
Yeah,
about
we
that.
getting into that. They
That's
was
good.
paying him $300,000 a year, and the white man showed up with his colder ice and offered him $5 million.
And I heard what like a 4 or 5 year contract. So he's then to make about 20 million.
Yeah. Yeah, they gave him they gave him a deal. They gave him a deal, but we're gonna get into that. Osama doing the builder says the perfect storm salute. I just found out about how his office and car were broken into. I don't even blame him. I don't even blame him. We probably we might have to start right there. Yeah, well, I ain't even got to write that one down. We're gonna come. I know we're gonna make it back to that one. But shout out to VD Chantley. You dropped so many comments. I ain't gonna read them all. But he says, I think the situation is a perfect analogy of how Black culture teaches Black men the ability to give us everything we want and don't ask for anything in return. Yeah, and before we get all the way into it, shout out to everybody in the building. I can't read them all because I'm trying to get into this. Shout out to Cold Steel, the Mac Trucker, KG, Red Scorpio, Osama Abdu once again. Who else? I don't want to miss nobody. Daryl L. the second, Mayan King, Revisited. Shout out to all of y'all, but most importantly, not most importantly, but definitely for damn sure, high on the pecking order, high on the pecking order. Ride of God podcast in the building, dropping a $50 super chat on me. $50 super chat on me. Gotta drop the bomb. Ride a guy coming through, dropping $50 on it bright and early. Do appreciate that. But all right. Going, we getting right into it. Going to Black Ram, who, you know, you was, if I understand it right, you was a little bit in the dark on this story. You probably saw some thumbnails, but wasn't really paying attention. So you just recently dug into it. So that's good because we're gonna get raw reaction from somebody who ain't been listening to all the chatter.
Exactly.
So what's your initial thoughts? Just the backstory, as I know you know most of it. 3 years ago, Deion Sanders took over at JSU. You know, he out, you know, so he did a good job, you know, had the program getting live, you know, TV, you know, they on TV, they playing big games, they doing stuff. There's more, you know, more eyes on it, you know, the camera crews, lights, camera, action everywhere. He brought a spark there that wasn't there.
Yeah.
And I've always said, Black people, if we producing the best athletes, you would think the HBCUs would have the best athletic programs. You would think. You would think. And Deion Sanders, actually, he recruited the number one scout, number one player in the country. He recruited him and got him to come. So I was like, hey, he turning this around. It's going to be a time where the HBCUs are going to be dominating college sports. And I was like, you know, I applaud that. Go ahead and do it. We complain about our stuff not being right, not looking better. We got to build it. Deion Sanders took that first step, and he did it for 3 years, and then he's out of there. He's out of there, and now everybody mad. What's your initial takeaway, raw reaction?
Well, you know what? It's so many different angles to this, Brother Bernard. So I want to talk about the different angles that I want to look at this in, and then try to condense it. So first off, I want to look at it from Deion Sanders' point of view to try to put my foot in his shoes. Okay.
Right.
Then I want to look at it from a community aspect. Right. Also, I want to look at it some positivity of what Deion Sanders did bring to Jackson State. And also, I want to look at the bigger social political issues with HBUs as a whole and tie all those things together. So I want to look at it as quite a few different aspects, and maybe some I'm not even mentioning right now. So the first aspect I want to look at it is, well, Deion Sanders went and took $300,000 salary instead of being on somebody's broadcast talking about sports and football. I'm sure there were other opportunities for him to make money doing something else other than coaching. Even if it was him having his own like daily podcast or something, I'm sure there were other opportunities. So I'm thinking that he sacrificed something to take a $300,000 salary to go and be coaching at Jackson State. Also, I've heard that he had a contract with Under Armour and they donated a lot of stuff to the school. Basically,
Mm-hmm.
the school's kept this game all the way up, well, from sponsors to just more opportunities economically for Jackson State as a university. So
Yep.
he brought with him his influence, which wealth followed, money followed. So you really can't be mad because that's better than doing nothing. He could have said, you know what, $300,000, it's not worth my time. I'm going. But he did a lot of good for the program. In fact,
Mm-hmm.
put the program on the map. I mean, let's think about it. Who was talking about these programs or HSBUs like they are now in Jackson State, like they are since Deion? Deion brought a lot of good attention, and which in turn brought more money. So you have
Mm-hmm.
to be thankful for a man to be able to go back, because like you said, it's in the hood. I remember when I went, I think I was in Atlanta, and I rode through Fisk University just to see what it looked like, and I was like, wow, this is smack dead in the middle of the hood. And I mean ghetto, right? I mean, I'm from the ghetto, but I'm like, damn,
Yeah.
university right here, smack dab in the middle of the ghetto. But anyway, so he did a lot of good for the program for a little while. The other aspect, yeah, is the community, and he did give to community, but now he is leaving the community. So it's like, wow, Deion, is that some people saying that he's selfish
Damn, my
for
bad. My
this?
bad. Hold
No
on.
problem. Some people saying that he's selfish for that, and he ain't really blackity black for that, and blah blah blah. But I would like to see how many people could turn down $5 million a year versus 300,000. I would like to see the guy who can say, you know what, I'm gonna stay in the hood. I'm gonna stay with the community. I'm gonna stay with the peoples. From Deion's aspect, this can open the door to a lot of other different opportunities. So think about the experiences that he's getting as a coach. I mean, could he be setting himself up for, a pro coaching job one day? I mean, he's getting that experience. We already know what he has done on the field. Could he be having a greater plan down the line? And
Are you
again,
talking about like a NFL coaching job
I
or?
mean, yeah, I mean, he's getting the experience. I don't
Yeah.
see why not. If he's getting these experiences, I mean, I think he was coaching high school at first, right?
Yeah, well, he did say this. This is how he explained it. He said, "I think it's deeper than this. I think this is the surface level response that he gave. That coaches, they either get terminated or they get elevated. So if you
Mhm.
you stay in one spot, you could potentially stay there until they just get tired of you and terminate you, or you could
That
raise
makes
up
sense.
and move up. But so
We've seen that too. We've seen that over and
yeah,
over again. So
yeah,
that makes
when
a
we
lot
know
of
how that
sense.
works. There are some coaches that stay in the same place forever, but normally it's because they got to the highest peak and that place is paying them well and they just keep going.
Mm-hmm.
Part of the problem is they couldn't pay him they either couldn't or wouldn't pay him well. And I think it was more along the lines of couldn't. Maybe they didn't have the money in their budget to.
Yeah,
I'm
I wouldn't
assuming.
imagine that they would be able to compete with Colorado.
Yeah, because it's actually a video that surfaced of in Colorado. They were saying that they physically didn't have the money at the moment, but he was like they're going to get it through donors. Oh, and that's what we about to get heavy into. He said they're going to get it through rather from donors, boosters, alumni. Somebody going to foot this bill to pay for Deion
Wow.
Sanders and his staff. So they just like come on over. We going to get the money. He over there with black folks, with black people running everything from top to bottom. They can't say we're going to produce and get the money that is going to take to keep you to stay, your staff to stay, and for the facility and everything to be safe. Because even in his opening speech, when he had went over there in Colorado, he actually said, and I was shocked that he said it. He threw it out there, a nice environment, crime free. He threw that out there that it's crime free over there in the area, the
Wow.
community that he's in. It's like it just came off like he's tired of them Negroes. That's how I was interpreting that.
I could
Now,
understand that though. I can understand. I mean, if the man's car was broken in and you running through the community, here's the thing. It may be a great program, and nice to be at Jackson State. But let's just be for real. You're not going to change the surrounding community ever, at all. You may bring some hope to the university, but you're not going to change that community at all. at all.
Right.
They're going to still do the same. They're not going to say, oh, well, Deion is here. We're going to hold ourselves to a higher level of excellence. And, we're going to really work on this crime and this violence and this poverty that, that's plaguing the city around us. That's just not going to happen. That's just not going to happen. Usually the sons of SMs, I hope y'all know what SMs are. The first word is single and the other word with MO. But the sons of SMs really aren't going to allow, an upgrade in the community around there, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, that's a factor in the equation too. That's a factor in the equation. We'll get into that. But this is to me, this is the big part of it. All right. And I could be hold on before I even get into this. Let me shout out people supporting the stream. Shout out to KG in the building. He says, I used to argue against black flight when I was younger, and when I was younger and pro-black. But after an OG told me the reason, which was rioting and high crime, I revised my mindset. Go Deion. Black men are free. I agree with that part, but I will put a but on that. But what do you think? What's your thoughts on what he said right there? Yeah.
I have two mindsets, man. I Brother Bernard, I really want to see the black community thriving. I really want to see clean, safe neighborhoods with excellent schools. Shout out to Mark Sims, because that was his slogan, right? I want to see that. I want to see the black community surviving and thriving and winning. But that's idealistic. Now, if I'm going to be realistic, it looks grim, because think about it. This didn't start yesterday. Our communities have gotten and become progressively worse over time. While other communities have achieved more and gained more, we've lost more and more. So you can't even go in and predominantly African-American neighborhood and see, you would be hard pressed to see more than 1 or 2 stores. If you see that's owned by African Americans. So everyone comes in our situation. They're either taking advantage per se, as far as leeching off the community, as far as gathering funds, whether that be the preacher, whether that be the liquor store owner, whether that be the person who sell the weave and the weave shops. All of the black community is typically an opportunity for those outside of such community to get wealth, while those inside those communities who are being served stay in their same condition over and over again. And the only form of income a lot of people have in these communities are from government assistance. And I'm speaking for somebody who's from the west side of Chicago, born and raised. And in that impoverished situation and in that subculture of criminality, which many of us have come from, and I don't get me wrong, I don't like to see these things. You have to say, well, am I going to be self-preserving, or am I going to sacrifice myself for a community who not only wouldn't appreciate my sacrifice, but wouldn't recognize it and wouldn't give a DA, the rest, if you gave one? So I'm just saying, so you have to really think, where am I going to walk this planet thinking as an individual, or do I want to put my identity as part of the collective and change it? And listen, my hat goes off to anyone who wants to change the community, anyone who wants to change the perception of African Americans. That's a beautiful thing. But my question in a practical standpoint is, do you have the time, the life, the energy to want to do that? And is that a mission that is an exercise in futility? So again, on one hand, I'm like, yeah, that's good for the community. Yeah, we need more positivity in the community. And Deion Sanders being at Jackson State is definitely positive for that community. But at the same time, as an individual, man, we think about safety, we think about more money, more opportunities. Do you want to be a martyr? Do you want to be a martyr for the community? Me personally, I couldn't do it, man.
Shout out to Nipsey Hussle and those that wanted to stay in the community and physically be there, not just invest in something from afar and make sure that people are in the right place. No, he wanted to be boots on the ground in there, and you saw what happened to him.
Absolutely.
So
and that's a great point and prime time example, no pun intended, right? Of why the hell
I like that. I see what you did there.
But that's an example of what you don't want to be, man. Because let's just face it, even though it's a hard fact, Bernard, it's tough, man. I don't like to admit this, man. It pains me. But usually when we're around our people, man, it's nothing really good come out of that, man. I don't want to say that. And if I was Deion, and I'm gonna ask the question to the audience, right? To all you brothers that are listening, if you were Deion, what would you do? Would you take the $5 million and go to Jackson State and just tough it out? And knowing that they may not have the money to pay you at Jackson, you know how it is when black folks say they owe you something, man. We know it's going to be a problem. We already, if they don't have the money right there and there when you walk in the door, and they say, I'm going to get it to you, come on, man. Come on, people. You know it's going to be a problem, right?
Yeah, in my experience, and I'll keep it real. I've been on both sides of this. I'm doing a little better now, but I wasn't always doing good. So I've been on both sides of this. When money is borrowed amongst black people, if the person don't got a concrete date, just look at it as a gift. If somebody can literally say, hey, I get paid on the 19th, I will pay you back then at 12:13 p.m. if they can't give you that, then yeah, it's pretty much a wrap. But shout out to Hoop Jargon in the building. Says ready for you to open a panel on this as a former SWAC athlete and coach. I want in on this. I got you, Hoop Jargon. I got you. I definitely got you. I can't. Yeah, I'm glad you bringing some bring some inside information on this. Kevin C in the building. He says Prime elevated JSU over 20 plus different ways. Sponsors contract millions of dollars, exposure, etc. Black people are being very ungrateful. Okay. Now this is where I'm at with this. I don't knock black people for wanting more. Other communities get more. Other communities have better things because they build it. Now, I'm gonna put something out there, and this is what I've been saying for a while on the show. And a lot of people disagree with me because they say, celebrities or just the rich, successful, affluent among black people, they don't owe anybody anything, which I agree with. They don't owe. They do not owe it. I want to say it again. They do not owe it. But I do believe it with great, what is it? Great power comes great responsibility, whatever. What did Uncle Ben and Uncle Ben,
Uncle Ben, Spider-Man.
Yeah, all right, there you go. I do agree with that. Great power
comes great responsibility.
And okay, so there are these black celebrities. Shout out to LeBron James, who be all on this pro blackity black sounding stuff. Yeah. He calling out the media because they didn't ask why y'all asked me all these questions about Kyrie.
That's a good point.
Why y'all didn't ask me about Jerry Jones, the Dallas Cowboys coach who got that picture when he was in that protest against the kids in Arkansas trying to integrate the schools. So LeBron keep his fist in the air. Now I want you to listen to this clip though. I want you to listen to this clip with these pro-black billionaires and millionaires who talk all this stuff. Check it out.
And I'm gonna be honest, I got a guy on the staff. I'm gonna tell you what my guy on the staff said. Very reliable. He said, JB, Deion went out and asked people of the LeBron statures and these type of guys in the business that are black African-American people that are billionaires. Hey, man, it ain't going to be another figurehead like me as a black coach coaching black men. There's not going to be another one of me. This is your time to jump and get in here. You want me to stay? You want to do this and make a change? Let's start dumping some money. No one did. Chirp, quiet, crickets. So what are you going to do? Stay there and be in a JUCO facility and not move up? Or are you going to
No. Elon Musk just confirmed that Kanye West is banned on that part. It was a little part that wasn't supposed to be on the back end of that I forgot. Bad editing. But I don't know how that must have been left from my last edit. But anyway, you heard the main part. You heard
that's a game changer right there, Bernard. He said that if he indeed did reach out to all of these billionaire athletes and celebrities and people with money, and they didn't ante up, I'm even more in favor of him leaving because hey, it's only going to work if black folks support it.
But see, these people are pro-black though. If you look at what Diddy doing with Revolt, remember they have all those little conferences. They got Killer Mike on stage and they talking all that stuff. Until we own, we're 13% of the population. Until we own 13% of the wealth in this country, our job is not done. Your job is not done. I remember that speech. And P Diddy standing up clapping. He clapping his hand. He's still clapping when Killer Mike said that. If Deion went to them and was like, look, this our shot right here. We got all this exposure, all these eyes on us. The one thing we got going for ourselves as Black people, where we undeniably better at everybody else, we produce the best athletes. We should own that. All right. Our colleges should be the best college, to have the best programs and bring in the best money. So we got the best facilities and the best everything. We got the best everything because we should be generating more money because we got the best athletes.
Facts.
He went to them on that. And all of these fist in the air, fake pro-wax, pro-blacks, they didn't fork over a dime. Didn't fork over a dime.
Not a dime. Wow, man. Wow.
But they're pro-black though. They care about the community. They got Twitter fingers when somebody do something wrong. they let you know they let you know exactly how they feel on Twitter.
Yeah. They'll talk about it, but doing something is a whole different story, man.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. So in that sense too, man, looking at it from Deion's individual aspect, and that's another thing too, Bernard, that I've experienced. Anytime somebody tries to bring awareness to the community, anytime somebody tries to do something good for the community, there's really not a big concentrated effort. It's only either one individual or only a small group of individuals out of the many. And that's one of the reasons why you can't even get anything started, failure to launch, because you don't have enough participation. One man or one small organization isn't enough. It's the fact that nobody else cares. So, and it's a domino effect. So if I'm the only one caring and I look around and nobody else cares, well, then what am I still doing standing here? Now, let me give you a story from my personal life. First of all, I want to say I am not a Muslim, nor am I in the Nation of Islam. But there was a time in my young life, about 15, 16 years old. No, I'm sorry, about 16, 17 years old, where I wanted to make a change from, dealing with street organizations that were involved in pharmaceuticals to doing something more positive.
Long story, Black Ram know how to keep it monetized over here.
Because I understand, bro. I understand.
I gave up on it on the live show because it's like I get that yellow light every time. But you know how to do it. You got me
up here. I love to dodge that algorithmic juggernaut. You feel me?
Yeah.
So you got to worry about that from me because I know what it is to have your platform. You want to monetize it, but you have somebody, a guest on, and they blow it out the water the first few seconds, man.
Yeah.
I mean, one time I had real quick, I had Obsidian on. I said, hey, Obsidian, we can't say A, B, C, F, and G. He said, okay. First second out the gate, bam, right away. Blew the monetization, but I understand that, man. I understand that. But so I was involved in that and got on a positive note, right? So I was at this time in my neighborhood selling the final call and everything. Hey, come buy paper. Do you want to bring pie? Check out these books. Let me tell you about the messenger, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. And by my peers and even adults, I was laughed at and ridiculed. And I said, this is a respectable organization. And I, as a young man who literally left the streets to join this organization, would be a part of it, to have not only my peers, but others laugh and ridicule me, making sacrifices to try to awake our people and my people. I'm like, wait a minute. Y'all looking at me like the bad guy? I'm funny now? I'm weak now? I'm lame now? Nah, something has to give. So after going through that, I said, you know what? These people cannot be helped. I mean, I don't know about anybody else's experience. Maybe it's different, but me living on the west side of Chicago, when I actually tried to make a positive change, not only did I not have assistance, people really downed me for it. Like now I'm less than a person because I'm not out here, doing things that are not quite legal. This is wild, man. So for me, the community is like, well, you all want this dysfunction. Y'all are comfortable in it. This is a subculture of dysfunction. We call it being hood. We call it being ghetto. And I see that they're very comfortable in this. I see also that they are very comfortable in their criminality. So what am I going to do with my life? Am I going to sit here and try to reach an unreachable people? See, it'll be different, Bernard, if people are like, okay, let's get together. Let's work. Let's get this together. Let's help. And you had large participation. But that's not what you have. You only have a small group of individuals or only an individual really trying to make a change. So as much as you would like to see change and improvement, as the great David Carroll would say, no hope, no change for the Blacks. I have to take his position, and may he rest in peace, because even I was on the ground trying. In my personal life, places that I've worked, I was trying, and it always was met with a lot of resistance, to say the least, man. So if I'm Deion, man, I'm running up out of there. He tried, he said, hey, this is what's going on, this is what we need, no help. They break it in my car. This is a lot of big old sacrifice. I gave it them all. Maybe it didn't work. Let me seek greener pastures.
Yeah, it does turn into a situation where you end up just having to go for self, because when it comes to what Black people want, we show time to time again, we show that we don't want it. Now the interesting part, and that clip that I played that was from Jason Whitlock. That was from Jason Whitlock, and he went on to say, after the guy said that Deion Sanders actually did go to top billionaire, millionaire athletes and celebrities and was trying to say, like, hey, this is what I'm trying to do, this is what we need over here, make some investment in this. If y'all want to see, Black man coaching these young Black men and bringing, our programs to prominence where they should be, because we produce the best athletes, so we should have the best athletic programs. When they refused, or when they didn't offer any support, didn't put any money up, Jason Whitlock, when he heard that, he pointed out something real interesting. He said, when we need something from white people, we make it public. We make a public spectacle. we apply public pressure, and if they don't do it, they racist and they don't care about us and this or that. So he asked a good question, like, why is he tiptoeing behind the scenes asking for LeBron James to be as pro-Black as he claimed to be? He should have been on the podium in a press conference doing the same thing we do with white folks.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So it blows my mind. It blows my mind, just the overall mindset that even the people in position don't do it. Because I don't, and let me know what you think about this, because like, I don't think we get anything done through passing out like the church collection plate. I don't think that's how other groups do it. Yes, people put in small contributions, send $20 here, $10 there, $50 there, but in the stock market terms, they call it a whale when somebody comes, like their whales come through in situations like that and put big lump sums in that move the needle. And Black people, we have whales that don't want to move the needle on this. And in the title, when I say, are we, our Black people, are we blaming the wrong person or blaming the wrong people? That's really that's really who I'm looking at. That if we want these programs to not look like junior college facilities and the head coach getting his car broken into, that's who I put a lot of onus on them. Like how much onus do you put on the whales to be essentially what they claim they are? How much of it do you put on them?
It's a great point. And I wouldn't say put all of it on them, right? Because we us as African Americans, so-called, we have this savior mentality where we are always waiting on someone else to do what we should be doing in our community. So don't get me wrong. I think those who are rich should be a big part of it, but that should be supplemental. The real work begins on the ground in those particular communities. So if you want to clean up your neighborhood and we want better sports programs, those in that local area need to be doing all that they can do. So this is how this is what makes it appropriate. So the surrounding community around Jackson State University, if it's a concentrated effort to clean up those communities, create infrastructure, create businesses, lower the crime rate, that has to be, first of all, an effort amongst the people in that community. And then what the rich is supposed to do, organizations are supposed to do, is to see those things working, right? See those things working. right? And you have a head of those, you have heads of those movements in the community at the ground level, grassroots level, reaching out to these rich people saying, hey, this is our program. This is what we've done so far. This is the progress that we have made. So when you write me, let's say I'm a B, and let's say I'm what's his name, Robert Johnson, I think is his name. So if I'm Robert Johnson and you telling me, hey, we would like your support, your help on this. Okay, well, what have you done so far? What's the name of your organization? What have you done so far? How much community support have you gotten? Have you wrote your government? Have you wrote your local congressman? What is your mayor doing? What are your civic and community leaders doing in there? How much money have they invested? How much time, effort, and energy have they invested? And once we see that, okay, we got these pastors on board, which they should be. You have these community activists on board. You have the community, a concentrated effort, and we clean up. We've made progress. We've closed down X amount of liquor stores and built this, and we've done this and we've done that. Then I can say, okay, I can see your work. I see what you've gone through. Get biblical. I see your work in your tribulation. Okay, well, now I'm willing to commit $1 million to this because I see a structure here going and working for the public good. You shouldn't ask for anything until at the root, grassroots level, ground level, in these communities, they have to do something first. And then you can ask for, hey, well, we would like your help, LeBron. We would like your help, Mr. Robert Johnson. We would like your help, P. Diddy, once it's a program up and running and things are already being done. Don't ask for me to give you $1 million and you don't even have a plan. And that's what's wrong with our people. You don't even have a plan. You don't have structure. You don't have nothing going on. You just want this money. No, it doesn't work like that. And see, what I just said is just simple common sense and, just simple logic and reason, man, to do a civic practice like that. But for some reason, when it comes to our people, that's just too far out of the way. And we don't have how can I say it? We don't have a standard of excellence amongst our people, even the ones who are the brightest and the best among us. We should expect excellence for them. And especially when there's money involved. Professional excellence should be involved. How can you help the people? You're not even setting a standard for people by the way you help them. So it can't just be about, oh, that's his problem. He'll sell out what my handout at because we have the savior complex. Oh, let's get Deion down here to save us. Oh, let's get Puffy down here to save us. Now they owe you now. And when these same guys were in the community, you looked them over. But now that they made it out of the community with the help of white folk, now you want them to owe you something. I just don't think that's the way to do business, man. I just don't see it that way.
Yeah. Yeah, no, good points. Hey, Hoop Jargon. Hit my email. You said you went to a SWAC college. You went to a SWAC. So definitely want to get your take and perspective on this. I know we've emailed you before, but I could not find your email for some odd reason. He sent me something. And, so yeah, hit my email, then I'll be able to. I'll send you the link. I don't even want to put the link in the chat because I don't even want to army of people trying to come up today. But Albert Coleman in the building. Not Albert. I'm sorry, I'm tripping. This was from Hoop Jargon sent me this, and I don't know who. I guess that name right there. That's that name right there. I guess the person who wrote this. But so ignore that name I just said. But it said, according to my source, JSU in the hot seat for misuse of football funds. Individual Hoop Jargon sent me this. He says, according to my source, JSU in the hot seat for misuse of football funds. Individuals was stealing money from the football program by moving it into general funds, scholarships, basically stealing from prime and players. 80% why Deion Sanders leaving. This will be the next breaking news. You heard it from me. Wow. That's one of those I hope it ain't true situations. That's one of those I hope it's not true situations. If here we are complaining about white folks, there's something ran top to bottom by black folks, and they didn't. I'm trying not to even cuss. they done effed up the church's money already.
Man.
Already.
Man, oh man. Real quick, let me shout out Rod of God for his Cash App donation. I greatly appreciate that, dear brother. Wasn't expecting that. And also Ricky Webster as well. Appreciate the Cash App donations, brother. Appreciate that.
Yes, appreciate everybody supporting the stream. Appreciate y'all hitting brother Black Ram's Cash App as well. Definitely great. Speaking of that, shout out to Kevin C, who dropped another one. He says Prime elevated JSU over 20 plus different ways, sponsored contracts, millions of dollars exposure. We'd already read that one. I think you sent the same one twice. Wait, no, hold on. Yeah, you did. I think you sent the same one twice, or you reiterated what you said. That Prime elevated JSU over 20 plus different ways, sponsored contracts, millions of dollars exposure, etc. And Black people are being very ungrateful. And this one says Prime generated millions for JSU. Why did the university and famous pro-blacks refuse to pay Prime? Too much trashing on Deion. Yep, you must have. I think you said that one before I went on and covered that directly and played from that clip that, and the guy, I forgot the name of that guy, but he's close to it. He works. I mean, I forgot his name and exactly what he do, but I know I'm not even going to botch it. But the guy who said that Deion actually reached out to the celebrities and the pro black million and billionaires and like, hey, we need some investment over here to keep this thing going. They like basically whatever Colorado is paying Deion $5 million a year, he reached out to them and they said no. So there's that. So there's an element, and I understand exactly what Black Ram is saying, that certain levels of competency needs to be shown before people just throw their money at it. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, I think in this situation, I think Deion was showing the ground level work. I think Deion was showing the ground level work. So I do think some pressure could get put on. Not what, but with I want Hoop Jargon to come and substantiate what I just read, because if it was misuse of funds and a bunch of nonsense happening at the ground level, who wants to throw their money into that?
Fact. That's my point. My point exactly.
If it's reports of misusing funds,
exactly.
Reports of misusing funds and funds. So I'm waiting on Hoop Jargon to hit me. All right, I'm just gonna put the link in the chat, Hoop, and I'm just gonna not let people up. This ain't for everybody. I know I don't like telling Black folks no. I know I don't like telling Black folks no. But there's a link. That link is for Hoop Jargon. The link is for Hoop Jargon. I do want to get his perspective on this. Sound like he got a small bit of insider info. That link is for Hoop Jargon. But before we get all the way into that, shout out to Knock It Off Jack says, do you have an email so I can formally submit a request to do a response to some of your videos? Feel free to go ahead and just do a response. Just consider this your formal request, and the request, permission granted. So you go ahead, you got it. Knock It Off. He says, did my first super chat come through? It absolutely did. Thank you very much for that. Hoop Jargon back in here with another one. Says, I like Whitlock. That show was trash yesterday, in my opinion. I agreed with a lot of what he said, but who gonna get Hoop Jargon perspective on that? But let's see. And he says Jackson has nice facilities after Prime came through. That's a factor of the equation as well. I thought that he did, clean up some aspects of that, but but put it like this: at a top-notch facility, the coach's car can't get jacked. I mean, he's in some security parking in the, his stuff is closed off in his own garage somewhere.
Which shows there's an element in the community that doesn't appreciate him being there. You know what I mean? And that's a problem. So it's like there's certain foundational and ground level problems that you really have to solve before you can really start to see excellence. And that's one of them. You know what I mean? I'm not saying don't put an effort at all points, but that's one of the things that your local in your community has to solve before there's large investments in anything. I'll give an example, Bernard. You can tell me if you agree with this at all or not. Whole Foods. I'm sure everybody know what Whole Foods is, and Amazon. They made a significant investment in communities, urban communities in Chicago, certain African-American communities. But these stores had to close, number one, because people weren't buying the produce there. Because you know us as a people, we're not good with fruits and vegetables. We have that standard American diet of just pretty much meat and sugar and bread, but also the crime in that community. So now you have an upscale store that has brought wages and job opportunities to that place and an opportunity to make that place brighter and healthier. But what happens in these communities? They don't patronize it and they take advantage of it. Criminal activity around it in these communities. And finally, because of all of the violence and everything, you just have to close down. This is happening in real time in these communities. The community is called Inglewood in Chicago, not to be confused with the LA Inglewood, but it's just a community called Inglewood in Chicago on the South Side that these certain businesses have to close down because of the environment over there is just so toxic. So we can't even begin to really talk about investment and all of these things until you start breaking things down at that surface level. Who wants to invest in a crime area, a high crime area? That's not a smart investment for anyone. Not alone, no. not only not a safe one, but not a smart one either.
You hit on something, man. I've talked about in this show, and I've had somebody on, and we've debated the whole concept of food deserts and the lack of good nutrition is why Black people are, particularly Black women, but Black people are as obese and overweight as they are. And I said, it doesn't matter. They can open up a little small store in the middle of every or a big giant superstore in the middle of every hood, every ghetto. It don't matter. They listen. They're not buying up. They're not. Those vegetables be going bad. Okay, I remember, and it was one. It was one in my neighborhood. It was actually owned by, I don't know where these people was from, some foreigners. You know how they do. They set up shop in their neighborhoods. It was one in my neighborhood. They had a little fresh meat section, in fresh vegetables and all of that. I went in there, and this was back when I eventually on principle quit buying from those places. But back when I used to go there, I would go in there. I bought some meat from there, and I was looking at the meat, and I'm like, hold on.
That's a weekly test. My bad, Bernard. That's okay. Outside though.
I was trying to fix that on my end.
No. That's a tornado warning thing.
Got you.
Tuesday in my area.
Got you.
Suburbs of Chicago. They don't do this type of stuff in the city, but they do it in the suburbs. So forgive me.
Okay. That just means you're living well. That's fine.
Right. Let me mute my mic for a minute because it does get loud. But
go ahead. Yeah, go ahead and mute up. But yeah, no. I noticed the meats was being looking a little bad. But that was it happens. I'm sure Jack's Fruit Market, they have to throw away some stuff every now and then. But one thing I did notice, those vegetables, they were not flying off the rack. They just weren't. I mean, it's not a matter of not being accessible. I guarantee if somebody open up some fruit and vegetable market right here, in the other place open up some liquor wings and junk food, the liquor wings and junk food spot going to do better business than the vegetable and fruit market. It just is.
Facts.
It just is.
We just have an aversion toward fresh produce, man. It's just not. I mean, when was the last time you seen someone in your area just eating an apple, man? It just doesn't really happen. You know what I mean? We want that quick, that processed food, the stuff that tastes good. We just have a culture, and I don't like saying this, people, but we just have a culture of dysfunction from top to bottom. From the dating choices, raising children, the food we eat, on a micro level, macro level, every point, man, we have this dysfunction at every point. And it's terrible. Every point we have this dysfunction. So when we ask for excellence from athletes and entertainers and organizations and rich folks, it's like, well, I'm having this excellence, but again, what are you doing on the grassroots level? And I understand what you're saying about Deion doing all that he could do, as you mentioned earlier, but I'm thinking more of the community around Jackson State. Because here's the thing, When you have a university or something like that in your area, that's supposed to bring traffic and business and people and all these things to your area. It's supposed to help the local economy. And the local economy needs to be prepared for that in some kind of way. I'm not saying work miracles. My point is that before there's large investments from any group or any person, anyone, what are they doing in that community to say, hey, this is what we've been doing. Come and help us out. That's all I'm saying. And I'm not talking about Deion Sanders himself or that particular program. I'm talking about ultimately that community surrounding Jackson State, because that's what it's supposed to do. Now think about this traditionally. Traditionally, when you have a university amongst European Americans, right, in their neighborhood, you have some that's on, outliers where that's in the area where it's just a university, it's almost isolated. But you do have universities that are smack dab in the community. Those universities and the programs in the universities usually are supported by everyone in that community, not only financially, but in every other way. All I'm saying is that before we start looking at other athletes and entertainers come save us, because we have that saving mentality, what are you doing on a grassroots level in those communities first? That's all I'm saying.
Right on. Good stuff. Good stuff. Well, we got Hoop Jargon in the
Hoop
building.
Jargon, what's good, brother?
What's up?
What's going on? What's going on? So you had a lot to say from a lot of different angles. So I'm gonna pass it to you and let you take it wherever you're gonna take it. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'll kind of just go off of what you gentlemen are saying, because what I've seen the last few days is just conversations all over the place. It really is. And it's a little tough for me to digest, because playing at Prairie View A&M, coaching at Prairie View, knowing many coaches who still are there or have branched out from there, I understand the culture. And the culture is like, SWAC culture is, it's so funny to see people who I know don't watch, Jackson State games, who I know don't watch Grambling State games, so on and so forward, chime in, because you're chiming in over like the optics of it. And I think that's the whole thing of what we're seeing right now. So again, I'm a SWAC purist. So I just kind of step back and just kind of do it my way and just tell the story my way, because it's all over the place. Like you said, like people will just, they're so comfortable with just critiquing Black, SWAC entities, but like, you don't put into it. You don't watch it. You don't go to the games. And it's just so funny that it's just used to be, it reminds me actually of what WNBA fans do. AKA, I don't want to mess your algorithm up, but eminence, let me say that. They try to argue on behalf of these players getting the same amount of money as NBA players, but you don't watch them girls. You don't go to them games.
Yeah.
So it's almost like it's diametric in that standpoint. You see both of those people trying to argue a talking point. Because literally, bro, on my just my personal social media, I'll say that I see women who I know don't watch Jackson State got so much to say about Coach Prime and what he's doing there. And I'm just like, where are you getting this information from? Like, what's your basis? And I think that's kind of the underbelly of what's going on. And like the brother pointed out about the local community not supporting it. Man, yes, absolutely. If you've ever been to Jackson, Mississippi, man, it ain't somewhere you want to go twice. Let me put it that way. Been a person been there about 6 times, man. It's really funny to observe. And then again, I guess in mass, I see projection going on. People who they want to, I guess the utopic, best case scenario, what they want to see happen and preserve the Black community and all that stuff. Like, stop it, man, stop it. You clearly don't know what goes on with misappropriation of funds with these Black schools. Coming from a dude graduated from a Black school, I respect the SWAC at the highest level, but it's a lot of bullshiggity in the middle of that as well. So it's just kind of funny to observe, from a outer, not in the loop no more, kind of in the loop situation, to with people who have no clue what they're talking about. And it's just kind of funny to observe.
Well, let's speak on that when you talk about the misappropriation of those funds, because you're the one who sent me this, and y'all probably can't see it, but I'll read it again. I'll read it again. I don't know if I could blow it up to where it could be seen, but it's basically saying, according to my source, JSU in the hot seat for misuse of football funds. Individuals were stealing money from the football program by moving it to general funds / scholarships, basically stealing from prime and players. 80% why Deion Sanders leaving. This will be the next breaking news. You heard it here from me first. Where do you get that from, and what is that? What exactly is that?
Yeah, I got tagged in that from a group. Because again, everybody and their mom was talking about Jackson State right now.
Mm-hmm.
And so I got tagged into it because everybody know who follow me on regular social media that, you know, sports is my thing. And so I just read it. I was like, damn. And I guess the most recent thing I can compare is at Texas Southern University. They had a president get fired for misappropriating funds. And I forget her name. This is about 10 years ago. And she got, you know, removed for misappropriating funds. And it's been alleged that what's going on in my school right now, Prairie View, misappropriating funds and misappropriating, you know, having people getting kickbacks basically for getting the jobs and underperforming, this, that, and the third. Like, it's just a lot of mess that goes on in the HBCU ranks. And I hate to admit it, but I mean, listen, man, I'm not up here to lie. I'm up here to tell the truth. So as far as that, like I kind of prefaced it, I told you, like, that's, you know, as far as I know, that's rumor. But if that's true, God damn. So, you know, I'm not going to put no other stamp beyond rumor, but I'm just kind of sharing with you what I saw. And a lot of people are responding to that allegation.
So, what would you say people are getting the most? What would you say people are getting wrong on this? You know, because I remember you said something in the chat room or maybe in the super chat, and people were talking about the facilities there, and you said something along the lines of, "No, the facilities, all of that is fine and dandy ever since Deion Sanders been there."
Yeah, I was trying to find the actual post I saw, but it was like a side-by-side picture of what Jackson State's practice facility was before prime and then after. All I can find was the after picture. It basically like a middle school football field before he got there, and when he got, now that he's you know done what he's done, it looks like some professional stuff. So I saw that on Coach Prime's watch, and most people they're not aware of stuff like that. They don't know the little idiosyncrasies of what's going on with their program, and he's built that program up a lot. And not only that, out of his own personal salary, you know, I think $300K was the number. He put about $75K back into the program to pay his coaches to get those initiatives done on campus. So when people
wait, hold on, you mean to tell me that Jackson State couldn't pay the coaches, the staff?
Hell no, like, dude, like, no. Like,
how are they doing that bad? They I mean, come on, like how they ain't got $75K to pay the staff, pay his coaching staff?
He's tied up in other money. Like, and that's how kind of backwards, let me say, that SWAC programs can be. It's like the money's just all over the place, man, and not in the right place, because we know. And you know what? I'm not going to blame the AD. The AD is a guy named Ashley Robinson, and he's actually he was working in compliance when I was at Prairie View coaching. So he's a good dude, man. He's the one actually who reached out to Coach Prime and got him over there to Jackson. So he's a good guy. It's just, I mean, there's so much red tape beyond the AD. And a lot of people can have their hands on those funds. And so, again, I'm not going to pass that you know, link I said as truth right now because I don't know it to be so. But like I said, like I prefaced it, if that's true, man, that's a hell of an allegation. But, yeah, these things happen, man.
So, overall, it sounds like you more on the lines of he should have left, or you don't care that he left, or where you fall on that, giving you know, somewhat insider information. Where you fall on that?
So where I'm at is I wish he would have stayed, because I mean part of me is I want, because he elevates the whole SWAC. He there is good for the SWAC. It just is.
But what about on the individual level, man? $5 million is a lot, man.
Oh no, so okay, I'm glad you said that. As far as him going and doing for himself, absolutely. Like, I got no problem with that. I've made 3 streams about it. Like, man, dude, who are you to tell this man to do this money, his resources, and his time?
Right. That's a lot of money to leave on the table, man. And who knows? I was mentioned earlier, he might have professional aspirations as well, man. So, you know, who knows how much money that can be. And if I'm not mistaken, I don't think Deion really took care of his money when he was playing in the NFL. So he might, you know, you might be able to use the $5 million. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I agree with that. And
if he was on LeBron level as far as money, then I probably would have something to say.
Yeah.
But his financial situation may not be as rosy as we might think.
Yeah, Black Ram used the term idealistic earlier in the show, and that fits. Because from an ideal standpoint, being idealistic about it, yes, I would have liked to seen him stay. I would have liked to seen him stay there and fight and build it and make it to the point to where, those schools, the HBCUs. He be the first step, and then another big prime time figure, pun intended, another big prime time figure come in for another school, then another one, and another one, and then now all our world class athletes, the seemingly one thing Black folks are good at producing, are going to HBCUs, and now the Black schools are the best schools, the most funded schools, and yeah, I mean that's how groups win. They so idealistically I wanted to see that, but it's like the other stuff that we're so bad at. It's like we can't even get the business right so we could capitalize on the one thing that we're good on. That's why when people talk about how our athletes, they got all this $1 million talent, but we don't know, they don't own it. They technically don't own their just unreal genetic gift that they have. It's like, so when I see something in place where I could see when I could see the building blocks of how Black people or Black men could actually take steps in the direction of owning what we're, as some people would say, God-given ability. I'm like, I idealistically want to see it happen.
Yes.
But then they in there messing up the church's money. It's like, so we can't get from point A to point B. So
right.
So yeah, that's a problem. That's a problem, man. That is a huge problem. So let's see what else was we about to get into this. We talked about it from the Deion angle. They was on some bull. He took the money. Then there's the community angle. What was one of the other angles with this that we were
we hit on most of them. I was speaking also of social politically and what it really means and says. I guess we can talk a little bit about it more, because some people look at Deion as being, let's just go to the bare bones, a sellout for not staying at a school that really couldn't pay him and that's poor. For greener pastures, that is money. And they say that the other man's ice is colder. But I don't think that's a fair analogy, because you actually are getting paid more money and a different facility in a different area. And think about where he's going, though. Let's think about this real quick. Jackson, Mississippi. We know it's predominantly African American, and he's going to Colorado. I mean, there couldn't be a bigger contrast there. From Jackson State, Mississippi, from Jackson, Mississippi to Colorado. I mean, you all know how snowy and pale Colorado is. So I mean, that is just a great example. And one here, over here they can pay me and take care of me, versus over here, I'm here to help out and bring some attention and help the community. It's a great contrast. And it really, to me, it pushes the issue for some men who are, I mean, think about it on our own lives. Some of us have the opportunity to move to the suburbs or stay in the city, have an opportunity to stay in the community and, and help out the poor and unfortunate and the SMs. I hope you guys know what I mean by SM, single and other ones. Yep. And do that and be stepdads and all this other good stuff if you want to, or just go somewhere else to other communities and other nations and other states and all that. What do you do? Do you look at yourself more as an individual and be about self, or do you want to sacrifice for the community, which may and may not mean anything in the grand scheme of things? Yeah, short term, you bring a lot of attention from Jackson State, but is Jackson State going to go back under the radar 10 years from now? Is it going to go back to struggling like it did before Deion? Does it even matter that Deion was there? Is a good question. Does it really matter? Did he really help that community? Did he really uplift even the souls and minds of Black folk? Did he uplift that community or that economy? These are some of the questions we have, because I think there's large issues here. Go ahead, brother.
So he actually, he gave the blueprint of what to do as a HBCU coach, and it was, because here's the deal. Let me say this first. Boulder, Colorado is actually pretty nice. I've been to that campus when I was coaching at Prairie View. We played at University of Colorado. That's actually, if you want kids to go there, like there's bars there. There's like a nice little subculture of, fun, campus-related fun. That's actually better than that Jackson campus. Now, I think Jackson gonna have the better looking women, obviously, being HBCU. But Boulder is actually a pretty cool city to bring college athletes too. And they may not know that until they get there. They get there like, oh, they like, hell yeah. So let me say that. Let me preface, the whole thing with that. Now, secondly, with him giving the blueprint, like Coach Prime was the dude who, like the first SWAC coach I seen who took social media seriously. Like he had a dedicated, person, which his son, Junior, basically doing his social media, and he was intentional with it. Most SWAC coaches, coaches, period, they don't want nothing to do with social media like that because they, in their mind, they want to come coach. They want to do the X's and O's, put the work in, put the time in, and then go home or go do whatever their advice is. They don't want to do social media. They don't want to pay anybody to do social media. So sorry, this stuff is my thing is buzzing. Mm-hmm. But that's what Coach Prime done. And I had this conversation with my guy Sub-Zero, man. And we talked for an hour, man. And he's very much against what Prime did. And I kind of told him, like, listen, a lot of these coaches don't lend themselves no favors, man. Like you come in there and you just want you want to be this magnanimous guy, and your kids follow your every beck and call, and they just hold you up to this highest order, but you're not doing the stuff that relates to them. Because these kids now are just so social media driven that you're not even attempting to, reach out to them in that aspect. So I understand that Prime being who he is, again, very magnanimous. He has that little Southern Baptist preacher, speech pattern that he does. That's one part of it. But he draws them in with his social media presence. And these coaches don't even want to do that. Like even on the high school level, they don't want to do that. So he gave you the blueprint that, hey, if you want to come in and get kids to be on your page, on your level, appeal to what they want. And what they want is, because like all these kids now, when they get an offer, oh, so blessed to get an offer from XYZ university. Like that's their thing now. People, they want that endorphin boost of a social media post, those likes, those clicks. So if you understand human psychology properly, meet them on their level. And a lot of coaches aren't willing to do that. So the person who comes in to back up Coach Prime, obviously there's some residue of his remnants there at Jackson State. So it would behoove them to, step up and be, proactive in that social media sector.
Yeah, let's talk about this. A lot of people don't know this in the whole reporting of all of this, but where he's going, Colorado, they suck. They've had a bad program and haven't been that good for I think 20 years. They
13
said.
years, 2 winning seasons.
How many? They had 2 winning seasons in 13 years. Yeah, they suck. So like one could argue that he's getting paid a lot of money to take a crappy job. One could argue that.
Well, check it, Bernard, real quick. Jackson was horrible. Jackson is a blue blood program in the SWAC, but the last 9 years before Prime showed up, they were horrible. So that's kind of maybe his thing. Take those, reclamation projects and then build it in his own image.
Now, do you think? Likes to do. Okay, now the SWAC schools they don't get they don't get the best players, so to speak. The best top recruits. They go to the white schools. I go ahead and call it that. All right. So what Deion was able to do, he was able to bring some of those players that would normally go to the white schools, he was able to bring them to the black school. Now when he goes to the white school, yeah, he'll be able to get some players that probably otherwise wouldn't come there to come there, but he's going to be competing against other schools that are getting those same top-notch players either way. So at some level that may, normalize his whole cachet. You see what I'm saying? Like his ability to recruit top players is not going to be. Do you think it'll be greater, equal, or less than from the Nebraska or you understand what I'm saying? That the top schools that are always recruiting these top players. So it may not even be a thing. He may just get the money and just be a normal coach who performs normally. What do you think about that?
I think it would attract the best player. Think about it. Who wouldn't want to be where prime time is? So I'm thinking if I'm a player right now, I had a chance to go to Colorado or Nebraska somewhere, I'm going for Deion because I know if I can shine under Deion, because Deion, but the fact that Deion is there in Colorado, that association, that organization is going to get the attention because it's prime time, right? So if I'm a player on the field in that particular organization, I think my chances are greater of going pro. My chance of greater of getting all the type of success will meet the goals that I want, because the spotlight is going to follow Deion Sanders. And I mean, I don't know what the history of Colorado is as far as having black coaches, but not only is it Deion Sanders, but this is a black coach in a predominantly white state and city and area. So that alone is going to bring and garner a lot of attention. So if I'm a player, if I'm an athlete, I got a choice. What Deion at? What prime time at? I'm going to prime time. Sorry.
Okay.
And
You agree with that?
I'm gonna give you two names, man. Travis Hunter and James Houston. James Houston, just 2 weeks ago, set a record for the Detroit Lions in their actually in NFL. He got drafted in the 6th round coming out of Jackson State. He started at the University of Florida. He's playing linebacker. 2 weeks ago was a Thanksgiving game. He got 2 sacks and a fumble recovery in his first game. So they drafted him in the 6th round. They put him on the practice squad. He built his way up. First game, 2 sacks and a fumble recovery. NFL, I think he's defensive player of the week or something to that effect. But he set a record for a rookie in their very first game. That's Coach Prime's residue right there. Travis Hunter, the number 1 overall prospect in high school period, chose to go to an HBCU off rip. He didn't go to a program first and then fell off, and then, all right, Coach Prime going to come heal you back up, heal your ego. He came there straight off the rip. So if he was able to get guys like that with the funds he had, just imagine. And there's a report out now that there's about 200 inquiries in the transfer portal for people to come to Colorado. 200. And in fact, he signed a guy named, let me get the name correctly. He signed a 4-star receiver yesterday, gentleman named Winston Watkins Jr. Elite wide receiver already coming to Colorado. So you bet your ass that people gonna play for him in Colorado.
Definitely.
Okay.
Bet your ass he coming over there.
Definitely.
All right, no, that's good to hear. I'm rooting for the man no matter what he do. I just was wondering, it's easy. He got the players to come in, but they're competing against other schools. They're competing against other SWAC schools or whatever. You know how it worked better to me, like who plays who, because I could be ignorant to who plays who, but I obviously Nebraska got a tougher schedule than JSU, if you understand what I'm saying. So,
Really?
so I was thinking that him just bringing over some top recruits, that's enough to dominate over there. But him bringing those same top recruits is going to be enough to basically he dominating in that small pond. He bring over those same top recruits where everybody bringing in same top recruits in that big ocean. So I was wondering, would it, how would it really stack up? How would it add up? But either way it go, I'm hoping that I'm wishing him the best either way. But Major Leagues in the building said if Deion would have stayed around, he would have made lucrative deals with streaming his players to USFL, XFL with NFL. I don't exactly know what he mean by that. Hoop, do you understand what he's saying right there?
Streaming his players to he can do that now. Colorado,
streamlining, yeah.
You can do that now with Colorado. Like it's a bigger stage, a bigger platform. I don't understand what you mean by that. Like it's the same. It's even more elevated now at a program like Colorado.
Yeah.
I don't get that.
Yeah, I didn't get that. Black Ram, you get what he's talking about? He's trying to say something.
Streamlining his play. I guess maybe bringing more attention to the club itself and the players, maybe giving them some sort of advantage. But I agree, Colorado would be even a bigger stage to do that for sure.
Yeah, you got to clarify.
All right. Kill Juice in the building says, is it true that the leadership wanted the Celebration Bowl over the FCS playoffs? The playoffs would have gained more exposure to the team. I don't know exactly.
I know what he means.
Okay.
So basically, the Celebration Bowl is when you play against the MEAC champion rather. North Carolina Central is going to be who Jackson State plays next week. Well, this weekend. And so the thing is, when you play the Celebration Bowl, you don't get to go to the FCS playoffs, which is basically all the programs like North Dakota State, the ones who always Sam Houston State are always there. And so some people derive that as it's better to win that. But the thing is, there's no money in that. The money is in the Celebration Bowl. You're going to sell that out because, again, the MEAC versus the SWAC, that's those are two worlds collide in the HBCU sports realm. So common thought is like they'd rather be a part of that than going through that, playing against Monmouth and all those schools like that, where there's no money in that. So from a notoriety standpoint, I would challenge that. I mean, who gives a shit about North Carolina State? I'm sorry, South Dakota State football outside of that region. Nobody talks about them. Now you can say, hey, they got Carson Wentz in the NFL. They got Trey Lance in the NFL. Cool, I understand that. Other than that, I mean, nobody really cares about that. And their attendance is horrible. So the Celebration Bowl and the SWAC championship and things of that nature, they pull in like crazy money because everybody's there, because that's what everybody waits to go do if you like, HBCU sports. So that's what he's talking about. So I don't think nobody's going to break that protocol no time soon. Last year, Florida A&M went to the FCS championship because they were like the second place team in the SWAC. But the SWAC champion generally does not go to that route because it's just not money in it.
All right. Now, I know everybody already know who Black Ram is, but y'all know how we do when somebody's a special guest on the show. We circulate the link through the chat room. So I don't know if I've been seeing the link through the chat room. So come on, moderators, let's get on that. Let's put that link, get that link circulated.
Yeah, Jackie and LB Crypto has been doing that, so I like to say
okay, good. Okay, yeah.
And if anybody wanted to know, 6:30 p.m. Eastern tonight, I will have a live stream called Ram Radio or Real Pure Radio. So hope to see some of you all over there tonight, 6:30 p.m. Eastern, 5:30 Central for Real Pure Radio. Hope to check you all out. I have a question though for you, Bernard, and also to the brother who just joined us, and also to everybody in the chat room. I want to push the envelope. So this is for everybody who is listening, man. Everybody who's been commenting. What I want to know from you, Bernard, brother, everybody in the chat, is Deion Sanders a sellout for leaving? Why or why not? I really want to know. That's my question, and not just to you, brother Bernard. Brother, what's your name again?
Hoop Jargon with Cliff.
Hoop Jargon. Okay, Hoop Jargon. Okay, brother Cliff. I want to know from you all in the chat too. RT the brand, Gone Postal. Is he a sellout? You can just put yes or no. RT the brand, salute. And if we can, why or why not? That's what I want to know. When I saw the title, first thing I want to know, because is he a sellout or not? Let's go with that.
All right. Yeah. See, My knee-jerk reaction is no. Okay, well, no, I had two knee-jerk reactions to that question. The first one was he was talking a big game about black colleges and the whole works and this or that. Like I remember him saying a lot of that. So I do believe there's a place to hold somebody to what they said, just like how I was holding LeBron to what he's, holding a lot of the celebrities who talk all that pro-black stuff. I'm like, where was y'all? And Jason Whitlock said this. Where was y'all basically saying, no, Deion, don't leave. How much you need? Right. If y'all talk all this pro-black stuff and building in ourselves and this or that, okay, where was y'all putting 50 million up to, or whatever, or whatever many million need to get put up to keep them there, whatever was needed. Nobody and it was reported, somebody did leak out there that Deion did ask and they said no, or they just was quiet.
Yeah.
So from that standpoint right there, I don't think you could ever call him a sellout from that standpoint. But the only time where I will even play with that word, only time I will ever play with that word, and it's not really even calling him a sellout, it's sort of like saying that they can be hypocritical if they talk about things from a blackity black we black y'all perspective, and then in the end they go do their own thing. So then it was like, okay, were they trying to grift off some blackness until white people showed up and offered them money? So like you can't call somebody out for that, but from a pure business capitalist standpoint, do your thing.
Well, what about from a social standpoint? But I got to hold your feet to the fire, man. I know it's your show, but I'm gonna put the heat on you, brother. From a social political standpoint, we understand from his personal standpoint, economic standpoint, but from a social political aspect. But now, hold your feet to the fire, dear brother Riley. Is he a sellout social politically, sir?
Not sellout, but he didn't stand on some of the things. he didn't stand on some of the things that he initially said, but I think once he got in the trenches, he got good reason not to.
I got
So
you.
that's why it's hard for me to
solid answer. I get that. It is.
That's why. So no.
Okay.
My solid answer is no.
Okay.
My solid answer is no. However, when he got in them trenches, he found out why the idealistic things that he wanted to do.
Facts.
He found out why it wasn't possible.
Exactly.
So I'll say there. That's where I go with it. I'll say no, but that's my explanation why. All right.
Exactly.
Found out.
So to you, brother Hoop,
he kept around and found out.
Yeah, exactly. What do you think, brother Hoop? Is he a sellout or no? We can speak social politically. We can speak from his own personal standpoint. What you think, brother?
I'm glad you asked that because I put a video out and I used that phraseology like exactly sell out with a question mark, and it got people just incensed. And because some people are saying stuff like that, they really are. They're saying that basically, in my opinion, it depends on what school of thought you want. If you want to save you to come and say the SWAC, save HBCU sports, then yeah, he'll sell out. But if you understand what it really is, that Deion Sanders is a salesman. In my real life, I'm a salesman. And people are so like, that they feel butthurt the fact that he kind of misrepresented a few things. Like, dude, and I say this already. Tell me a job interview you went to. Like, yeah, I'm gonna be a decent worker. Man, about 2 or 3 years, I'm gonna look for another job. But right now,
you don't do that, right?
Nobody does that.
Nobody does that.
I mean, I'm proficient at Excel, and
right.
I just want to be aligned with the principles. Like, that's what you do.
It ain't happening, brother Hoop. Ain't nobody doing
that. Ain't happening. People put that, basically don't hold themselves to standards they won't hold to themselves. And I just find that to be pretty comical. Now, with me understanding what Prime is, again, he's a huckster, man. He's a guy who's gonna sell you, he's gonna sell you on himself, what you should do in this world. Anything you do, you should sell yourself first. And that's what he did. Now, I say this all the time. I wish he didn't go so hard on the God angle, because when you do that, you're going to get that little extra part of like somebody like really, really buying in what you're saying. And then if you do something else, it's going to be rough to kind of spin move out of that. But that's just who he is. Like Prime, like when has he not been a flashy guy talking himself up? So with that being said, Prime has been who he's always been. And so the real question is, did Jackson State benefit from his tenure there? And we all know that.
Yes.
He had ESPN on every game, college game day coming to campus. Like, come on, what are we talking about?
And that's why I would be reluctant to call him a sellout, because he was there and he did help and he didn't have to do it. You see what I mean? So on one hand, yeah, you did your thing and then left. So it's like, it's kind of teetering, because you did go there, you did give of yourself, you did make sacrifice, you did your thing. And then when you got a better offer, you left. And who among us, right? He was without sin, cast the first stone. Who wouldn't go for that better offer? Is it a sellout? And the true sense of the word, I think we could say sellout in the true sense of the word, right? But at the same time, I don't think we should hold him to such a standard like that because he was there. It'd be a different thing if he said, no, I got better things to do. I'll never go there, if he was asked or offered it. And if nobody ever tried to provide help, that's a different story. But he was there. He did improve the program. He did bring a lot of attention. And I'm sure he did wonders for that local economy in some way, somehow, because
Absolutely.
Of Sanders. So he did affect the situation in a positive way. So in that sense, I can't call him a complete sellout. But just by definition, you leaving over here, you're leaving the trenches, right? You're leaving. It's like Moses, right? It's like being in Egypt, right? It's like you're leaving the trenches, right? You're leaving us to go with them. You leaving this situation, although it's desperate, although it's grim. You want us. You here with us, brother, but you're going over there with them. You know what I mean? It's still, you're going over there. So in that sense, yes. So it's just not like a black and white thing. It's just a lot of different variables here. From a personal standpoint, I'm 100% with him. Hey, you're going to make $5 million a year over there. And who knows, one of these days you might make a run for, coach at the pro level with all this experience and all this other good stuff, because, they have a higher standards for their coaches in the football NFL. You're doing moves. You're a flashy guy. He like the money, he like the fame. It's part of your personality. I get it. But again, I can't call him a complete sellout because he was there. So all that I just said, if I had to really, really narrow myself down and hold my feet to the fire like you did, Bernard, Damn, I gotta say no. He's not a sellout, man. What's your definite answer? Your definite answer. I know it's black and
No, hell
it's a lot of
no.
different
Hell
variables.
no.
Yes or
Listen,
no?
I love this. No, hell no, he's not. I love the SWAC, man. Listen, man, I'm a SWAC dude. But if we gonna be honest, it's a lot of bullshit in the SWAC. So if you got an opportunity to have less of the bullshit in your life, yes, and he always said he would entertain other offers. He said, I'd be a fool not to. So it's not my problem that you just looked over that part and you only focus on what you want to. Again, as I said, it depends on what school of thought you want to look at this, and inspect this at. So if you want to do that, man, do it. That's okay, because guess what? His life gonna be just fine with or without your scrutiny. So no, hell no.
Great point. Great point.
Hell no.
All right. Shout out to everybody supporting the stream. Jackie Jack in the building says, no, he is not. Deion can't do it by himself and shouldn't have to. I think he bit off more than he could chew.
I agree, Jackie, all day. That makes 100% sense to me.
He did a damn good job of it, though. Just saying.
Yeah, he did. He did. Tana So Lit in the building says, I appreciate Prime for spending money out of his own pocket for uniforms, travel, promo, and more for JSU. Well appreciated. Absolutely. Yeah. And that that right there speaks to it. How you coaching, how you a college coach coming out of pocket. Like that's just weird. Like that just shouldn't be. That shouldn't be the case. Damn. But Sir Tyson the builder says, best SWAC guy coverage in Hoop J. Long time no see. Black Ram, welcome back to these parts. Bernie, salute. Absolutely salute, Sir Tyson. Salute, Sir Tyson, definitely. Absolutely. He says, on to the sellout part. By using a lot of we and us, he
I agree with that.
Yeah.
Great point, Sir Tyson.
That's where I was at with it. That's where I was at with it. That's why I said I don't like to go. I don't like to just call him a sellout, but you can hold somebody to what they were saying. And I couldn't get to. I don't remember the exact quotes. I just know I remember what was in the air when he went there. It was a lot of we and us. You're right. I can't. I was reluctant because I can't remember the exact quotes, but that sums it up. A lot of we and us. Yes. And yeah. But Clue Channel in the building says, what's wrong with selling out?
Clue, my goodness, brother. What about the community, man?
No, Clue don't care about the community.
Right.
Clue don't give every time.
Clue don't care about the community, huh? Ouch, Clue.
Yeah. No, technically people take more money all the time. It's just that ain't going nowhere. That's a proposition or a factor in the equation that ain't never going anywhere. But like if he looked at JSU like it was his own, like for example, I remember Mark Cuban said, I'd rather make $50,000 a year working for myself than make, I don't know, he put the number too high, but let's just say millions or whatever working for somebody else. That's too high of a number. You're gonna take the millions, but I think there is a such thing as building your own stuff. There's something to that. It's something to that, to where if you got your own thing, your own baby you building, and you're making $75K a year on it, but somebody offer you a job for $275K, but you got your baby right here that you building, I understand somebody turning that down because they could grow that thing to their own millions, so it kind of depends on how does he really truly look at JSU? Do we just look at it as this is a job? This is a job and they're paying me to do a job. And if I get a job that pays more, I'm going. Yeah. But if he front loaded it with too much, he's doing it for the cause, for the purpose, because he a big talker. He talk all that higher purpose stuff, So he made himself vulnerable to these attacks. I can't deny that. And that's why, I'm not criticizing black people for criticizing him. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that, even though Clue is like, what's wrong with selling out? Technically nothing from the standpoint that everybody takes a better job. Everybody takes a better job.
But what about the community though? Clue.
I got a question though. I always say with these, man, like how many years is enough though? How many years is enough?
Point. Great point.
5. I heard 5 is the magic number. Okay, so we went 5 and he left. You think that people would still say that have solid grades about him leaving? So how many years is enough? So the ultimate point that I'm making with that inquiry is you don't lord over anybody in their decision making, their time, their effort, and their resources. That's up to them. And once you just accept that, you'll take the news a lot better. Just saying.
It's fact.
Right on. Ride of God podcast in the building with another one says selling out isn't taking higher paying job. It's compromising yourself for a quick buck. Did he compromise himself?
Hell no.
No, I wouldn't say he did.
Okay.
I wouldn't say he did.
Okay.
But he did, but like you mentioned though, he did give the appearance like this was like him being there was like divine.
Agreed.
It was a higher purpose.
Right, it's the higher purpose. So if God got you there, brother, why are you leaving where God wants you to be?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, no. See, those fast talking Christians. I'm leaving where God wanted me to be, because God is sending me somewhere else.
Right, exactly. You always change the goalpost, baby. You can always move it. Always move
it. God sent them there, and now God is sending them to a higher place. That's they gonna make it work.
Wow.
They gonna sprinkle some Jesus dust on it one way or another.
One way or another. I got you. That's
yeah, that ain't going nowhere. But Black Ram, you said you had an hour and a half, man. So we getting up on. Let me get Sir Ty Super Chat here just in case he had a question for you before you anything. But he says, question for Hoop, Jargon, and Panel. Okay, he said question for Hoop, Jargon. But he said, do you think Prime used a lot of me also telling the new team his that wouldn't cool. But also telling the new team his son was going to be QB.
Wow.
No competition. He did say that. He did say that at a press conference. But no, we agree with you on the this is different. He's saying, do we use too much I and me? Yes, when he was in the press conference, he was like, I'm coming. I this, I that, I. And Jason Whitlock made that point that coaches are supposed to talk about we and so that wasn't a good look, but he's always been that braggadocious, larger than life character.
You can't expect him not to be Deion.
He's always been that.
Yeah, that's who he is. It's Deion.
Yeah, that's Deion, and they hiring Deion to be Deion. So there it is. I mean, he talking like he about to suit up and lock down the other team top wide out or something. That's how he talking. But But I agree on that. But now, as far as him saying, also telling the new team his son is going to be QB, like no competition or nothing, that was wrong. You wasn't supposed to mention that. You were supposed to keep your mouth shut about that. And then when we turn on the TV and watch and see his son starting, we supposed to lie to ourselves and say it was an accident.
Exactly.
You were supposed to mention that one.
Not that one.
But go ahead. What y'all got on that? Go ahead. We get Hoop on that. Then go ahead, Black Ram on that, because you got a roll. So go.
Yeah. Again, that's more of Deion's personality, man. He's prime time. So, it is. I mean, let's be honest. It really is about him, right? I mean, when we be following stories about Colorado, if it wasn't happening, if this wasn't Deion, you know what I mean? I mean, he got one of the biggest names in professional sports, certainly football. So it is an I, and it is a me, because he himself, by being the coach, is going to put a lot of eyes on those teams, even if it's just to see Deion on the sidelines and not in uniform. So I think it's appropriate to a degree, but we would like people to be more humble.
Mm-hmm.
We would like that. But again, that's Deion, and this is why you hiring him, because it's Deion Sanders. Absolutely.
Yeah. Hold on. Wait. You said white coaches do the same thing. No, they make their son be the quarterback, but they don't announce it in a press conference before they even get the job.
Wow.
Again, they make it look like an accident.
Right.
Like he just out-competed.
It just happens, right?
Oh, yeah, that's crazy.
Right. It just happened.
But hey, Black Ram, man, thanks again for coming on through. Greatly greatly appreciate you stopping by, man. You know, the door is always open for you over here. But man, thanks again for coming through.
And thanks for having me, man. Appreciate you, man. Of course, we'll do this again.
No doubt.
Brother Hoop, it was good to be on this panel with you, dear brother. First time
Absolutely.
seeing you, first time meeting you, brother. Like a
sub
lot of
your
things you
channel, bro.
said. Absolutely. What's your channel, brother?
Hoop Jargon Sports Media Network.
Bet, will do. I'll do
Media
that
Network.
today.
Yeah.
Appreciate you, brother. All right, brother Bernard, man. Hey, it's been a long time. It's good to see you again. I know we did a show over here. We did a show with me. I think the last time, in fact, we did a show when we was talking about the elections. The last time we did a show.
No, I was on your show. I was on your
right.
show.
That was the last time.
Yeah,
that was
around
the
the
last
election.
time was election.
You came on mine sometime before that, then I came on yours. So
Right.
it's the way it goes. It's been a while. It's been a while.
It's been a minute, man, since that election show. So we'll talk more. And of course, you know what we'll do also, Bernard. I know it's a while from now. But we'll definitely do another election show too, then and have you on for sure, brother.
Oh, okay, cool. We can do that.
That can be our thing, but hopefully I'll have you on before then.
Right on.
Definitely
right
then.
On.
Absolutely. All right, brothers. Good talking to y'all. I'm gonna jump off of here, man. And much love to the chat. Appreciate you, Jackie and LB Crypto, for throwing those links. And also Rod of God. Appreciate you, brother. And salute to everybody.
Sir.
All right. Peace. All right. The Hoop Jargon, though, while I got you here, we can go on and keep the party rolling. What's your thoughts on that on with Sir Ty's question right there? It's a two-part question. Go ahead. What's your thoughts on both of those?
Yeah, I and me again. That's on brand with him. I made this comparison on my stream the other day. I wouldn't expect if I met a chick at the strip club. She got the booty meat, you know. She popping, you know, in all the right places. And then, you know, I gal her up, and then I want her to change. Like I know what I signed up for. You understand? Like Prime, he's always been who he is. He's always been a self-promoter. He's always been a me guy. So I mean, what are we talking about? How are you surprised by that? You shouldn't be surprised by that. That's who he's always been. So no, I don't think that's a problem at all because you hire him knowing who he is. As far as the Sun, I love it because the team sucks. The team sucks. They were 1-11. They suck. So I mean, listen, if you're gonna, you know, one of the best things you do as a coach, if you're gonna get fired, go down your way. Because if you go down on other people's whims, you're gonna be like, man, I should have did this. Man, I should have did that. Dang, I should have thought about this. Do it your way. Because if you get fired, you can be like, hey, listen, my way don't work. So next time I'm gonna switch some stuff up. So there you remove all doubt about what it is. So I got no problem. The team sucks. And a lot of people were saying that, oh, well, some of those guys are going to leave and all that, and he's messing them kids up. The quarterback actually put himself in the portal 3 days before Coach Prime was announced. So, I mean, like, yeah, my boy going to come be quarterback. Yeah, I'm good with that. That's that LeVar energy, LeVar Ball energy. I'm good with that.
right on. Yeah. Sir Tice, shout out to you. Appreciate you coming through with the super chat, and also Jay Freeman Blackman in the building, dropping a hardcore, heavy-handed $50 super chat on it.
Big baller.
He says when we turn on the TV and see his son starting, then we lie to ourselves. Yeah. He wasn't supposed to mention it. We supposed to turn on the TV, see his son starting, and we just supposed to think it was an accident. Just lie to ourselves and think it's an accident. Ain't that how they do it?
That's how they do it.
That's how they do it. They're just like, oh yeah, you know, he's the best man for the job. that's how they look us right in the camera and tell us that stuff. So we got to do the same thing when we in position. Hey, just make it look like an accident. But anyway, says I nearly died laughing at how true that is. That's how it's supposed to go. But shout out to Jay Freeman Blackman. Do appreciate you supporting the stream. Damn, you said Colorado. Now I knew from reports they was bad because, you know, that's what everybody was saying. But you said they won one game last year.
Yeah. One game.
Wow. So do you think that's a situation where he probably felt like, you know what, I obviously can't do worse than that. I'm going to recruit somebody. So no matter what, it's almost like he took a job where no matter what, I'm going to be the one that turned this situation around. Even if even if they go,
Absolutely.
you know, even if they win 8 games, what was they play 12 games, right? No, 12,
13 roughly.
13, 12. Okay. So okay, let's just say they go 9-4. He still turned it around. You know, so it's like a can't lose situation. It's like a can't lose situation in that sense. But
I heard a funny comment that said if he wins 6 games, he should win Coach of the Year. So I mean, you can't go nowhere but up, man. It's like it is what it is, man.
yeah,
Perfect
yeah,
scenario.
yeah, yeah. Yeah. Do they normally have Colorado? They normally have a tough schedule or no?
Well, they're in the Pac-12, but UCLA and USC is leaving. I don't know if it's a year or 2 that they're leaving, but I mean, yeah, they play against Washington State, Washington. You play against Oregon State. So I mean, yeah, you got some perennial programs you're going to see in a given year. So
Okay.
I would say, yeah.
Okay, so that 9-4 that I threw out there, that'll probably be a real good record then.
Hell yeah.
That'd be real good. That'd be real good because they going up against that. Yeah, because you gotta keep in mind, it's some college. I don't intensely watch. I watch college. I surface level watch it. You know, watch college football. I don't intensely watch it. So it's some intricate details that I don't know as far as, you know, how much success he's going to actually have there. I can't really give no analysis of that. I was listening to Jason Whitlock, and they was theorizing how and why he probably won't do well or whatever.
Yeah, that's what I said. It's goofy. That was goofy to me, man. The white dude he had on there, just he basically at every turn was trying to say why it won't work, it shouldn't work, and how Coach Prime is this. And again, I just default to, like, if you understand personality types, you understand people. Why is that surprising to you that he used I, me a lot? Like, that's just who Prime is.
Yeah. You knew he was going to do that. Sir Tyson in the building says John Brown, Amon Ra, and Equinam fathers. Yeah, I don't even know what you're talking about. Energy.
You talking about 2 wide receivers in the NFL?
Okay. See, yeah, I'm so
brothers, yeah.
Yeah. Then LeVar's hoop jargon. Okay, so he's saying he's more like them, more like their father than LeVar. Yeah, I'm so behind. I ain't been watching no football lately. I'm behind. But but all right, yeah. So what do you think about it from the standpoint? This is probably the last thing we'll riff on. We'll riff on before we get up out of here. Just I'm trying to think. What was me and Ram on? Oh yeah, we covered the sellout. We covered the community angle. Overall black. But your overall general take on it. Black people on Twitter, black social media, their whole criticism and everything from it. You pretty much against them, or are you with them? Do you understand where they're coming from, and at any level in their criticism, or are you just completely like, nah, yeah, black folks, y'all tripping, get off him? Like, where you at on that?
No, well, again, so my whole thing is to understand people. I try not to get upset. I try to understand. And what I've observed is people who I know do not watch the product. They are arguing the optics. So when you argue the optics, you're basically projecting. And when you do that, you tend to lose scope of everything.
Well, but hold on, it's the social. Okay, wait, Sir Tyson won't do link. It is the social angle of it. Like, this is people not looking at this from a sports angle. They're not talking X's and O's. They talking like the social, political, cultural, angle of it. Are they wrong in that regard?
Well, again, so I got to default back to my talking points. It's about what school of knowledge or what school of thought you're using. So if you want to be for power to the people, no matter what, then yeah, he's open to all those criticisms because he did talk himself into a corner, proverbially speaking, right? But if you just look at it for what it is, like, that dude got free reign to do what the hell he wants to do with his time, his resource, and his money, and his progeny, which is his kids. So, like, to me, it's goofy. Like, I mean, but I understand people don't consider those things. They just want to. It's the Field Olympics. I feel this. I'm saying it. F him and all that stuff. And so, I mean, if you want to delve into that school of thought, then do it. But I'm just saying, I look at it differently. Like, so I respect sports to a high order. I love SWAC to a high order. And I just see it for what it is. I appreciate what he did. But if some people, again, you have no investment, you don't really, mess with the SWAC like that. You just arguing the like you said, the social aspect of it. Then, I mean, rock out, man. Do what you do, man.
Right on, right on. Royce J in the building with a $10 cash app. And Sir Tice actually sent me a $10 cash app yesterday. We sent it for yesterday's show, and right on cue, we are joined by Sir Tice in the building. What's going on? What's going on?
What's going on, gentlemen? Like I said, the best SWAC coverage person in all of YouTube, my man Hoop Jargon. What's good? Hey, I was just asking some of the questions I was asking because of, I don't want it to be an echo chamber. Prime can do whatever he wants. Everyone that watches sports and knows sports somewhat knew that he wasn't going to be there for 5 years. I thought 3 at tops. So this doesn't surprise me. Now, what Hoop was just talking about with the reaction, like when I sent the questions about the quarterback, you got somebody in your chat, Kadera Margarim. If I'm butchering your name, apologies there. But I had asked a question about the quarterback, and they made a point that, what happens when the white people do it? And I'm like, okay, well, name me a D1 program in the last 10 years where the coach has just deliberately started his son. Okay, it's too much on the line and that's going to happen. Now, I'm not saying that Prime can if that guy earns his job, but those guys want to at least feel like, okay, you know what? I like Prime because I think, Hoop, you said this on your channel, what he brings that many other coaches don't bring is instant credibility, okay? Mm-hmm. You got a Hall of Fame player who actually understands the game at a very high level. So he can, and then plus he's demonstrated it at Jackson State. So I won't say it exactly translates to when he gets to Colorado, but he's got that credibility. And I'm saying that these recruits want to be able to see, like, okay, well, damn, if I go there, will I at least have a chance to compete at that position, even if it's quarterback? That's all I was just simply saying. And just one more simple point, because you had asked something.
Oh, no, that's a good point. He did fuck up their future recruiting, by the way.
So I won't necessarily say that. Let me say, like, okay, so I have three cousins, 2 first cousins, 1 distance cousin who all play D1 football, right? One goes to Michigan State, 2 went to Michigan State, 1 entered the portal and is at Kansas, and 1 is at Northern Illinois. I'm not saying this to brag. I'm saying this more, why didn't they all go to Michigan State? One reason why, and Hoop, I would like your insight on this. One reason why people go to these Big 12, MAC schools, or HBCUs is you have an opportunity for more playing time. Okay, so like one of my cousins who just made All MAC this year, 2nd year in a row, he started off as a freshman, whereas his older brother, he finally started as a redshirt junior, where he's technically a senior. You see what I'm getting at? But Hoop, the primary question to you is with Deion gone from the SWAC, do you think that still some recruits are going to go there because they see the opportunity that, like that number 1 recruit that he got there? I want to say his name is Travis.
Travis Hunter.
Yeah, Trav, thank you. Do you think you haven't played in the SWAC or whatever? What do you think the fallout is going to be from that?
Nothing. So he got a guy named Winston Watkins Jr., 4-star receiver, already committed to Colorado. There's reports that 200 plus guys want to inquire about Colorado coming in the transfer portal. Nothing. It doesn't fall off at all. And most people who understand how sports go, they know that Shedeur Sanders is a good quarterback. Your boy RG3 has been putting him in his Heisman watch list. Now, I know it's a little preposterous being, that he's in the SWAC. I understand that, but he sees, how good he is, and he's just kind of using that to kind of, just put Shedeur in the consciousness of people. It's like, it's like a token gesture, basically. But so people who come to Colorado, they know that already. They know Shedeur Sanders. They're well familiar with what he does, and so I don't think that hurt him at all. Because people know if you're going to come play quarterback at Colorado, you're going to be behind this kid. So I don't see nothing wrong with that at all. And I think it's better that he says that because you're not wasting the time and energy of a player coming in and think you're going to get the spot because you're not. I think that's good. You know where you're going to play. To your point, you want to go somewhere you're going to play. And then also I would say, yeah. And
what grade is his son in?
He'll be a junior next year.
Yeah, junior.
He'll be a junior.
So he'll be NFL eligible if that's what it's in the call.
Okay, so yeah, it still would float well for a freshman quarterback to still come there and then think that they probably could get the spot in the sophomore year. That's typically how it go. For a lot of quarterbacks.
Just somebody mentioned this in the chat. They're like, or you asked this, Bernie. They play in the Pac-12, but UCLA and USC are going to the Big Ten now.
Yeah, so that's what.
Colorado's probably going to be one of the top dog schools in the Pac-12 now.
Possibly, yeah. But
Okay.
and let me add this too, to your point about guys and how they may affect, the ones who want to play. I'm going to put this unknown secret out there. The worst kept secret is some dudes don't care about that. Some dudes just want to kind of just blend in, get their scholarship, get their degree, and get the hell out. And I say that one of my good friends, man, he went to Sam Houston State. He played defensive end. He didn't give a shit about football. About year 2, he didn't care no more. He didn't care. He didn't care if he didn't play. He just was down for he got his degree, and it is what it is. When I played at Prairie View, I had some players, they used to call themselves the DNP, the DNP game, did not play game. They didn't care. They didn't care, bro. Like, it got to a point where you just got so low down there, like it didn't matter no more.
So patriarchy.
Yeah.
Yo, what's up, man?
What up?
I'm just saying, man.
I don't know,
Can I
man.
answer one question before patriarchy goes? Somebody said in the chat. Somebody said in the chat about what's been the fallout or what are people outraged? And Hoop, you said something on your channel that had me rolling, where you're like, being a content creator, you know, just when you think you could be surprised and some of the dumb explanations that people say, you will forever get blown away. You know, I heard somebody say, a very popular content creator, that I'm not going to mimic them because they'll give it away, but they were basically saying that the only reason that Deion Sanders was able to recruit is because he understood that black swag, because he wore gold chains and all this. And I'm like, so him being, you know, an all-American cornerback at FSU,
be damn all that shit.
You know, what he did in the pros had absolutely nothing to do with it. You know, it's just because he came in with gold. This is why you can't really even take their criticism seriously, because they couldn't even tell you what an I formation is, let alone, you know, this type of defensive scheme and what have you. But I'm sure patriarchy got something to say.
I'm gonna say this real quick, if you don't mind. It depends on what school of thought you subscribe to. So if you subscribe to, like, basically no knowledge whatsoever, I'm going off optics, you can say whatever the fuck you want to say. But, you know, when you factor in the fact that Coach Prime is who he is for a reason, he's always been that for a reason, then you understand things on a more understandable level. But go ahead, Patriarch. You got it, brother.
The one thing I've always admired about him is this. I like the flashy guys, but I like the guys who bring the substance with it. And that dude was always, you know, I remember he would just literally be 20 yards off of a receiver, you know, and then be able to close the gap. And it's like, damn, how is he able to do this? You know, he knew every quarterback tendency there was. All right.
Exceptional.
Yeah, go ahead, Patriarch. You got it.
My thing is funny because I do think he kind of gamed it a little bit, right? So, I mean, Eddie George where's Eddie George coaching?
Tennessee State.
Okay, so there's a difference between Eddie George and Deion. Even if we look Eddie George has been there a year, right?
2.
Okay, so look at Deion's first 2 years and look at Eddie George's first 2 years. What is the difference? The difference, I think, is Deion knew how to game the system. I mean, I feel like he knew how to talk. He knew how to get people to believe in something, and he used it. So, I mean, I'm not really mad at him. I mean, I don't really believe in the whole community card. I think he used that to get what he wanted for other people that believed in it and then moved on to something else.
Yeah.
In terms of his son playing in the NFL, I don't see it. I think his son probably had more. I think his son probably had more competition in high school than he did in the division that they played in.
Wait, hold on. Time out. His son ain't that good?
I think his son. But hold on a second. But when you're okay,
go ahead.
So you're about to go from players who basically couldn't walk on to some of the teams that you're playing next year to now you're playing a higher. Really, who was the best team? Hold on a second. Who was the best team they played this year?
Florida A&M.
Who gets smacked by Miami? Who gets blown out by like 80?
They played North Carolina very well, actually. Florida A&M did.
Florida A&M played North UNC, right?
And with like 8 players out, 12 players out because they had some compliance issues.
What was FAMU's record this year?
FAMU was the number 2 team in the SWAC.
I'm talking about in college football.
Willie Simmons will get a big job down the line.
You're going to stiffer competition now. Like, I get the whole SWAC thing, but like, you're going to better competition now.
Yeah, of course.
Okay,
he's a 4-star kid though, bro. He's a 4-star kid. Shedeur Sanders coming out of there, he signed at Florida Atlantic. So he's a 4-star kid coming straight out. Shiloh Sanders played at South Carolina University.
I wasn't talking about that's the safety. That's the safety.
But I'm talking about Shedeur. Shedeur, the quarterback. He's a 4-star kid coming out of high school.
Okay, and you're playing high school level talent. That's probably 2 stars.
How else can you evaluate it, bro?
I'm telling you, you'll evaluate it this year when you play in the Pac-12.
Okay, so what are you basing your evaluation? How many SWAC games?
I'm basing my evaluation on the Pac-12 versus the SWAC.
How many SWAC games you watched this year to know what his
I didn't have the patience to make
it. And then that's always how this conversation goes.
I didn't have the patience to make it through one.
Okay, fair enough.
But if you're are you telling me that the SWAC is anywhere close? Colorado could probably blow right now with the 1 win Colorado had. How many teams in the SWAC could it blow out?
Most of them.
Okay. So like I said,
we're talking about one skill position. Okay. We're not talking about the team. We're talking about
you're
one
talking
position.
about the most important position. You're talking about
and he's a good quarterback. So we're going back to the root. The root is
in the SWAC. He's a good quarterback.
Okay. No, he's a good quarterback in high school.
Different
well, let me ask you this.
High school?
Hold on, wait. Let me ask you this. How do you? I get that it's hard to assess if somebody is truly just a great quarterback, or are they great because of where they're playing. Like how do you assess that? That's a hard thing to do.
Well, so as a person who watched every Jackson State game he's played, I go through like year one, he looked like a freshman. He looked he had the happy feet, what you call him, making bad decisions, not going through his progressions. He looked like a freshman. This year, he looked like he kind of looked like Jacoby Brissett and Tony Romo, because what he got a really good propensity to do is to, like, basically after the rush, he has an evasive move. His eyes are still upfield, and he still can go through his progressions past the first rush. And that's something he couldn't do year one. So I go off of what do I see out of this quarterback, which is translatable no matter where you go if you have an O-line. So if he has an O-line, it's the same thing, especially, again, we talking about the skill players. You got at Jackson, he had 4- and 5-star guys, at wideout. So at Colorado, again, I just went over your boy Winston. Let me get the name correctly. I don't want to be on these streams saying things. Winston Watkins Jr., 4-star guy, already committed. You're going to have talent at wideout. You're going to have talent on the front 5 blocking for you. So the translatable skills are still there to me. Now, could I be wrong? Yeah. So my question to the Patriarch is, what are you basing your assessment on?
The level of competition that you're playing versus the one you'll be playing now.
Cool.
You are going so from high school to the SWAC.
Mm-hmm.
This jump that you're about to make into playing in the Pac-12 or whatever it'll be, because you got 2 teams leaving. Thank God for USC and UCLA. Thank God for those 2 teams leaving. But the teams you're about to face, you're not playing Alcorn State or Alabama A&M, bro. You're not playing those type of teams. You're not playing teams with terrible facilities, terrible coaches. You're playing teams that are going to be competitive. And I'm just saying, being the fact that you've played in this, it's like, you played in this easy division for the last 2 or 3 years. I think it's going to change. Would you not agree with that, or what?
No.
Now it became the Travis Hunter. That's something completely different, right?
Why so? He only played at the SWAC level.
He played at the SWAC level for 1 year, right? A lot of times he probably would have been redshirted. So we can just throw that year away anyway, right? But it's different from Shedeur is playing the most important position on the field. Would you agree with that?
Based on your logic, though, you said that all we have is high school, basically up to snuff competition. And he's a 5-star kid. Shedeur is a 4. So he went and to be honest, Travis didn't have a great year this year.
He's a true freshman. Most freshmen would be redshirted. Hold on a second, but
Shedeur had an exceptional season this year.
Yeah, he's been in. This is his second year. This is his second year. I'm saying that kid, Hunter, if Travis Hunter went to Florida State, or if he went to University of Miami, he probably would have been redshirted his first year.
How do you know that?
What are most true freshmen done? Most true freshmen in good programs, or what happens to them?
No, you're not guaranteed to be redshirted. Man, I can go down a list of true freshmen like Adrian Peterson, who went and damn near took over college football at OU. Like
Okay.
Vince Young came to University of Texas, then
Yeah.
took over college football. Reggie
Yeah.
Bush, Matt Leinart.
Did any of them play in the SWAC?
What are you saying? It doesn't
There we
mean
go.
All
we
right, all right,
There
all
we
right,
go.
all right.
There
I
we
wanna-
go. I'm just saying.
What
I'm
you
just saying.
talking about,
They
man?
weren't playing in the
All
SWAC.
right.
They were playing a higher level of competition.
But you said they were red shirt. That's your word. That's
I'm
using
saying that
your
most
logic.
people. How many people are redshirted? Are most true freshmen redshirted?
No.
No.
Usually when you're not ready, you
Okay,
ready.
all right.
Come on,
I got.
man.
All right, I'm gonna jump in because I don't want to get too far afield in the conversation about whether
competition
Deion
is
Sanders'
subpar.
son, whether or
It's
not
very
Deion
low.
Sanders' son, about whether or not Deion Sanders' son is
We
going
can
to
always
play
revisit
well
it, though.
in the Pac-12 or whatever the hell. But you know,
I
so
like January man's comment.
But anyway, Pablo, go ahead. You got it, Pablo. And it looked better when I was in the back. It looked better when you turn your phone sideways to get the full screen shot instead of the
this way.
Yeah,
Come on,
it should.
Bob.
There you go. See, yeah,
right.
that looked better. That looked better. That looked better.
So I'm an HBCU grad. As a matter of fact, my alma mater, North Carolina Central, will be playing. North Carolina Central University will be playing Jackson State in the Heritage Bowl next week. So, yes, it's a different level of competition, but here's the reason why. It's not the skill position players. It's not the quarterbacks and the receivers, because a whole bunch of those guys from HBCUs are in the league right now and always have been.
Yes.
The difference is the offensive linemen
Trenches. Yep.
and the defensive line,
Trenches.
the big boys. That's where the difference comes in. That speed, the arm talent, the athleticism, all through HBCU.
Yeah.
That's where they go together. So I'm just saying, you're right, but not for the reason of for the skill position players.
Right.
My issue with Deion is not that he left; it's kind of the optics of how he left. So let me give you an example. So when they won the final championship game, they had a press conference scheduled. He shunned the press conference. They had an award ceremony to award him the trophy. He was being very impatient with the organizers of the award ceremony and all of that, because guess what? Colorado had the jet waiting for him. He grabbed up Shador, and within hours, they were in Boulder, Colorado, and Shador was wearing the Colorado hat.
Yeah.
But Shador is still a scholarship athlete at Jackson State with another game to play. So for the optics part of it, if I'm his teammate, I'm like, dog, you still here with us, and we got another game to play, and you wearing this other team's paraphernalia. I'm not gonna lie, I would feel a way about that.
Agreed.
Can I add one thing to that? I did not know that the press conference that I had referenced earlier, you know, the I'm coming and all that stuff, that was done 2 days prior to the game.
Yep. They hadn't won the championship game yet.
Right.
Yeah.
Really?
So to Pop's point,
Yep.
it's kind of like Shador, you got 1 foot in, you know, here already. Obviously, he knows what his Pops is going to do, you know.
I'm going to add this, though.
Well,
In
that's
this
what
new
happens
era-
when you're playing in the SWAC. You don't have to be locked into a game to win.
Why are you doing these SWAC shots, man? And you went to an HBCU.
I did go to HBCU.
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying.
I
I went to the MEAC. Not the
The man can have his opinion. It's cool. But no, I mean, from a standpoint like this, one thing is these kids are more business-like than they ever been with the NILs and a situation like that. I see a lot of kids who they go and they're like their own brand builders at this point. So it's a little different. Like from our era, it's just like Patriot, I know you're a little younger than us, but it's like, man, certain stuff you just ain't do. Like to your point, Pop, 10 years ago, if Shador did that, it's on some old dog. You can't come to this locker room stuff no more. People now are more business-like, and so maybe that's the way they pitched it to them, and so maybe that's why they're more, open to all these things moving at one time. Because you're absolutely right, man. In the old days, like that wouldn't fly at all.
Yeah,
I feel you, man, but I can't disagree with what he's doing, man. I can't. I mean, I just really.
No, I'm not. I understand. But like I said, I just didn't like the optics of it from the player perspective, for the guys that still have to play another game with his sons. That's all.
Yep, and
They
I'll say this.
Well, some of them are leaving too.
All right. Yeah, I know. Some of that's the crazy part. A lot of them players about to be leaving. But we about to wrap this on. I said I was only doing 2 hours a day. Shout out to Black Ram, who was here for the first hour and 30 minutes. Had a good discussion with him. The last thing that I will leave it with, a lot of the attacks that's coming at Deion from black folks, he opened himself up for it. And I think, Sir Tice, you said it best. He was saying a lot of we and a lot of us and a lot of that. So he opened himself up for all them punches that he getting hit with. So I can't even I can't tell them that they wrong if they believed in something bigger and he sold it like something bigger. But now apparently God sent him somewhere else. Like they can call that out. They can call that out.
I was saying that for the purpose of Blackistan and how they see things. Okay, I agree that Deion, hey, you get this opportunity, you should have bounced. Whatever. Y'all saw Clarence Jr. make a comment in the chat and saying that white coaches do it too. Clarence, we're above this. We know this. So have you? That's not the point that we're arguing here by any stretch.
He's real good at arguing points that nobody is making. I haven't even read none of his comments. I don't.
White people do it too. I mean,
that's what women do when they come in the chat room. They try to refute an argument nobody's made. But anyway, all right, y'all. Look, thank you, everybody. Hopped on the panel. Pablo, Patriarchy Strikes Back, Sir Tice, Hoop Jargon. Once again, the great legendary Black Ram was in the building. Shout out to everybody. And with that said, we are out of here. Peace. We gone.